3, 2, 1.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading in particular, mystery reading number 1096. My name is Elizabeth, and before getting into this reading, if you are a recurring viewer, you enjoy my work, and you would like to help support it, feel free to do so by sticking around and hitting that subscribe button down below and ringing the notification bell next to it if you feel called to. My goal is 300 subscribers at this time, so if you do feel called to subscribe and stick around, welcome. And thank you very much for your support as well as your presence during this reading. So I did see the number 111 like a few seconds ago or so. And the number 1 is about trusting and believing in yourself. I feel that this 111 is to reinforce the number 1 in 1096. So pay attention to what your intuition, your inner voice, what they're telling you, where or how they're guiding you. And remember that your intuition is quiet and it makes you feel confident. It's a confidence for sure, I feel like. And your fear is loud. And it either makes you question your safety or makes you feel safe. Now, there are things that your intuition does know that can make you safe, or make you feel safe. So it's not like it's easy to be able to discern between your intuition and your fears, but to me, what has really helped me discern is just knowing that intuition is more quiet and your fears are more loud and more jarring. I feel like when your intuition is guiding you, it's calming, almost, like even if it's something that you don't want to hear. Again, I feel like it's about confidence. The number 0 in 1096 can be about recurring themes or patterns in the form of spiritual communication or your own experiences in the way that things align. So if you are seeing recurring patterns or themes or synchronicities, this is confirmation to pay attention to those, or if you're not seeing these things, you're not noticing them, maybe this could be guidance for you to start paying attention. Because the universe could be trying to communicate with you, and your experiences have something to show you. The number 0 can also be about like a reminder or confirmation to really know when to put yourself first and when to honor the relationship and the journey that you have with yourself. You will always have an ongoing relationship and journey with yourself, and it's important that on this journey you either learn how to love yourself or you keep doing that as you already are. This could even be extra confirmation for someone who needs a little bit of a confidence boost when it comes to having to walk away from someone or something that doesn't respect your value, your worth, or what you actually deserve. For someone in particular, maybe you're walking away from a dishonest person or situation. For others, maybe you're walking away from a person or situation that isn't necessarily dishonest, but not in a malicious sense, but it's still not rooted in truth. Moving on to the number 9, this number is about purpose and helping the world release what no longer works. Do you feel a sense of purpose right now, especially spiritually? If you do, I encourage you to trust it. And if you don't, I encourage you to find it, because I do believe that it exists. I believe that our individual purpose, each of us, is found in the healing that it takes and the courage that it takes to overcome pain and fear. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I believe that there is always a way out. And 9 times out of 10, seeing that way out is going to be about changing your perspective. And I know that, it can be annoying to be like, oh, just be grateful, or, just look at this way and things will be better. If those things aren't working for you, gratitude or a certain perspective that somebody has suggested to you, find something that does work for you. A perspective, an outlook that makes you feel empowered and encourages you to love yourself in the way that you deserve. I saw the number 543 on the timer about 20 seconds ago. And the number is about trusting that everything happens for a reason. Whatever is causing you the most pain, the most fear, these feelings are coming up for a reason. Darkness can be used for good or evil. It's powerful nonetheless. The anger, the sadness, the numbness, the violence. It's powerful. We can either choose to use this energy, this darkness, to create more light, or to create more darkness. If there is something or someone that you are walking away from, or that maybe even you're thinking about it, because it feels like you're doing it with purpose and with meaning, that's what matters. Not what people think about you. I believe that as long as you are honest, you are generally trying your best, the universe will be there for you. You will find people who are meant for you, situations that are meant for you. It's easy to think that this world is built on evil. The human world is built on evil at this time. I don't think it's going to last that much longer, but if you pay attention to what's going on in the world, you can feel how angry people are getting. But as I was saying, the human world at this time is built on evil, but the universe is built on truth. You can't manipulate or deceive what already is. Facts, what you can't change. And sometimes knowing that we can't change what is, can either work against us through self-destruction or for us through self-care and self-love. I do want to say that the Lover's card can be significant for somebody, because while I was picking these cards to use, I did see it, and it just stood out to me among other cards that I saw. And it also has the number 6 on it, so let's go ahead and move on to the number 6, which is about a choice or a commitment, choosing to commit to self-love and self-care over self-hate, self-destruction, self-neglect. It's choosing to have a healthy, honest, fair, nurturing, and protective relationship with yourself, rather than one that is unfair, unjust, makes you feel more vulnerable in a way that isn't good, and really just robs you the opportunity to grow. That's what nurturing is about. In order to grow, you have to allow yourself to nurture yourself. And, because of some sort of stigma around that word, maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable. But honestly, I think all of us are really starting to learn how to be comfortable with taking care of ourselves and being the grace that we deserve to have for ourselves. I'm really feeling connected to the idea of the devil here, and more in the tarot sense. Maybe it's biblical for you, I personally don't believe in that, but as a tarot reader, I'm thinking more in the tarot sense. A tarot reader who isn't Christian, you know? And the devil in tarot is about feeling trapped, chained, bound, a slave to your desires, to the system, to something. And in this case, it feels like being a slave to your own darkness. That is what it feels like. And it feels like there's a lot of encouragement here to free yourself from yourself. You know, if you feel like uncertainty, confusion, you have the power to come up for air, to see the light, to be there. It all just starts with you and what you choose to do, how you choose to treat yourself. And I really want to emphasize that the work, the important healing work that you do on yourself, the spiritual growth that you do, it is such important work. And I really, really cannot emphasize that enough. Whether you're religious, you're spiritual, you're neither. I mean, as a spiritual person, I believe that it is the most important work, because I believe that when we are all healed, we're not living life through a lens of trauma and pain and making decisions based on that, and ultimately creating a world based on pain and fear. You know, I just feel like we all collectively have to better understand how connected and not isolated we actually are, especially with the internet. You know, like, if you think about like 100 years ago, there's probably so many different things we never would have known, so many more lies we probably would have believed. So just know that you're not in this fight alone. The fight between good and evil is very much real. So be wise with how you move forward and which side of the battlefield you choose to be on. Emphasis on that you choose to be on. It's important to acknowledge and embrace your power to heal and to contribute to a collective that is less about pain and fear and more about peace and courage. And that would just be so beautiful, you know? You could create so much beauty for yourself that way. We could all create so much beauty together that way. And I'm really loving how this reading is turning out. I really, really am. Let's go ahead and add up these numbers so we can move on to the cards that are on the table. 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 9 is 10, plus 6 is 16, 1 plus 6 is 7. And the number 7 is about, for me at least, expanding your awareness and your consciousness. Literally becoming more aware, becoming wiser, and really connecting with the deeper meaning of your own existence, your soul, this reality, and the spirit that exists beneath the surface. This reading does feel really beautiful in my opinion. But yeah, this number 7 really, really feels like encouragement for you to come up for a breath of air. Learn, grow, become wiser, and connect with deeper meaning. And if you need help with that, don't be afraid to seek it out, whether it's from other people or directly from the universe. You know, prayer or, however you communicate with the universe. Don't be afraid to ask for help. For me personally, the quote, "Ask and you shall receive," seems to be quite true. Quite true. So if you need help, don't be afraid to ask for it. If you feel like you're not getting it in this physical reality, the universe will always be there for you, for all of us. I'm just so happy with how those numbers turned out. I really, really, really love the messages that are coming through. And I really hope that it resonates with a lot of people who watch this video, this reading. But moving into the cards that are on the table, over here, this first deck is the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot Major Arcana cards. If you don't already know, these cards are about major themes, bigger ideas, more long-term ideas. And I'm going to use these cards, these Major Arcana cards, to kind of get an idea of what is the overall arching, the big theme here, what big idea really needs to be talked about in this reading. And I would be pretty shocked, honestly, if the Lovers came out. But over here, we have the Secrets of Tarot, Minor Arcana Tarot cards. And these tarot cards are more short-term ideas, more immediate situations or relationships. It's more about, the details and the bigger picture. And I'm going to use those cards, to get more detail about whatever this Major Arcana is about. And then I will wrap up the reading with one of these Ancestor Spirit Oracle cards to see what the ancestors, your ancestors, my ancestors, our ancestors have to say for you, for all of you. So, looks like there was something else that I was wanting to say, but let's just go ahead and draw out this Major Arcana. What major theme or idea? I'm seeing the Sun card in my mind's eye, by the way. I didn't pull it. I also saw that one. Other than the Lovers card, I saw the Sun card. And literally, the Sun is all about becoming conscious, becoming aware, things being illuminated. If you feel a lot of darkness, there is so much light, so much potential for light to reveal so many things. So what Major Arcana? Oh, just one. And I really, really find it very interesting that right now I am looking at the Chariot here. Chariot in reverse says setbacks, lack of willpower, to focus on the details, remember main motive for your goals, but this was upright. And the Chariot on its own, in my interpretation, is about your... I just got distracted by the bottom of the deck, and it's the Lovers. But, let me just set this down. The Chariot by itself is about a choice, in a way, of who or what are you going to allow to lead you, your life, and all of your other decisions. Your fears, your mind, in its most your mind in its most unclear state. We'll put it that way. Not the best word. That's the best way I can describe it, though. Are you going to let your mind in its most unclear state be in control of your fears, or its most clear state, your courage, your love? Are you going to let that be in control? Since this is upright, it does feel more like encouragement for you to overcome your fears. It really is reminding me of the devil that I was talking about before, and freeing yourself from your own mind. And what that looks like for each and every person in this video is going to be so different. There's so many different kinds of fears you can have, so many different ways you could feel trapped. So I'm going to leave it to you to take it however those messages resonate for you. And the video game Resident Evil might be significant for somebody. I also want to mention, before drawing out one of these Minor Arcana Tarot cards, that the Chariot has the number 7 on it. So again, really being encouraged here to choose consciousness and awareness, wisdom, and connecting with the deeper meaning of yourself in this reality. Allow yourself to explore the spiritual things, the religious things, Allow yourself to explore your own belief system and what really does resonate with you. The Minor Arcana Tarot card that I have is the Five of Cups, which, it can be a pretty sad card to get. I'm not going to lie to you. It says despair, sadness, loss, hope, which is interesting, conflict, change, expand. We have the zodiac signs of Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, and the element of water. The artist wrote, money losses, all is not lost. If you look behind, you may have something to salvage. So this card is very much about loss. You could definitely be dealing with sadness or depression. It really depends on how intense the sadness is. But it really feels like there's a lot of encouragement here for you to heal from this loss, this sadness, in a healthy way before it becomes anger and numbness in a way that gets a lot more difficult to control and overcome. That's why healing, being committed to healing, in my opinion, is important. Because if you wait too long to heal from something, it's going to grow. The darkness is going to grow. Growth is always happening. And if you ignore it, the darkness is going to grow. But if you address it in a way that's healthy, that light is going to grow. There's going to be growth one way or the other. So choose wisely. The number 5 is about change and transformation. And that just feels like more encouragement for you to embrace positive change, most importantly within, but also what other positive changes come after the fact. And changes after the fact may not seem positive at first, but in the long term, I really do feel like they will be. The last card from the Ancestor Spirit Oracle is Answer the Call. Explore, travel, and live. You may even be feeling called to lead in some way. A lot of us are being called to lead. And you don't have to be on a stage with a mic or in a position of formal power or anything to be a leader. It could be leading family or friends, simply just by being an example, leading by example. I did see the number 222, which could be confirmation of a significant relationship or situation that has come up throughout this reading for you, like in your mind. It can be confirmation. It definitely feels like confirmation, actually, in this reading, to create more peace and balance within yourself, and to really, be mindful of your choices and to prioritize what means the most to you. The Lover's card is a huge choice. It's a huge commitment. And if you do feel like you're being faced with that, don't make this decision lightly. I really, really encourage you to do that. And I just saw the number 333. That's about using your voice, self-expression, healing, growing, and commitment. How funny. Use your voice, make yourself heard, heal, and grow. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself be upset. But also allow yourself to come back to yourself, to the light. You don't have to be consumed by the darkness forever. It's okay to be a little bit, we don't have to be okay all the time. But what's more important is that you don't stay there, you don't get comfortable. So overall, this reading is definitely calling for you to overcome your fear and allow yourself to grieve whatever you need to grieve, to do that, to have more courage. And now I'm seeing the Have Courage Ancestor Spirit Oracle card in my mind's eye. So it seems like even your ancestors are coming through to gently encourage you to have courage, to answer the call, grieve, heal, become more aware, so you can have more power, more control in your own life and in the collective. It feels like your ancestors are reinforcing the idea of how important it is to recognize and acknowledge how much bigger this is than you. And I'm thinking of a reading that I did quite recently about how, I think it was maybe, within the last few videos. So this could just be confirmation that this reading is also meant for you, but it doesn't have to be. But the card that I'm thinking of was a card that I made that said something about how, what I just said about remembering that, oh, you are bigger than yourself. Like, you're not just your physical form, you're also energetic. So be mindful so you can fully embrace your power and, consciously choose how you use that power.